No, there's no sound. Why is there no sound?
We all look like we're sitting here just watching a video.
I know. We are.
The damn kids.
Hey guys, welcome to the Smokin and Jokin show. My name is Beth King, known as the Crayon Eater's wife. Also, with me is Jimmy King, my amazing husband and partner in crime.
Evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the show. Got another interesting show for you tonight. Our guest on here is Michael Glenn. And with this being the last guest show that we have or probably the last show that we're going to have for the month of June, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're going to talk to you about mental health awareness and just the stigma and stereotypes or whatever as far as it goes that go along with mental health and how we as veterans generally don't like to talk about it at first or whatever and struggle with it and don't want to admit to that struggle. Michael, thanks for joining us on the show tonight. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk about all this.
Good deal. Good deal. For anybody, I'll end up saying this again later, but for anybody that has already logged in and is watching the show, if you could highlight in the comments, it'd be greatly appreciated. Get the word out that we're out here talking about stuff and bring people in so that they can watch the show and then get some laughs in later on. It'd be greatly appreciated. Michael, why don't you, I guess, start out with just give us a little background, who you are, where you're from, your time in, what you've been doing.
Sure. I guess for starters, I'll just set the stage. I am 100% disabled for mental health. As far as the VA is concerned, I'm permanent in total, and I've had that for a couple years now. Let's see, let me back up to the beginning. Before I joined the Navy, I was pretty outgoing. I had a ton of friends, and I was always out getting into trouble, getting into mischief, just having a good time. And even the first couple years that I was in, every day was an adventure. My first tour duty was in Keflavik, Iceland. Like, how can you not have fun in Iceland? It was great. It was, and even when I reported to my
There's a joke in there somewhere.
um, there's plenty of jokes, but we got to wait till the 13-minute mark, right?
True.
The first like year on my ship, it was amazing. My first deployment it was hard. There were challenges. It was hard being away from family, everything like that. But being in the Navy was exciting. It was something that I really loved. It gave me so much purpose and direction. Um, my last year on a 5-year enlistment was when the Iraq War started. And my ship took the Marines that marched into Baghdad and started the war. So when we left San Diego, we knew it was coming. I don't know if anybody else in the country knew yet, but we knew what was about to happen. Um, and everything shifted. Everything changed for me and for my buddies on the ship. A lot of us, we started getting scared. We didn't know what to expect, right? Because I mean, who knows what's going to happen when war breaks out. Um, I started getting a lot of questions, a lot of questions that I still don't have answers to, and I don't want to get into the politics of it. But I mean, going to war and wondering, well, what are we really fighting for, and what's the reason behind this? Like, those are questions that probably every one of us struggles with before a deployment. Um, and on my ship at that time, those were the kind of questions that just was unspoken, but it's like you're not allowed to ask why are we doing this? Is it the right reasons? Is this something we should be part of? It was, these are the orders, you're going, figure it out, and don't question, don't talk about it. So when we got into the Gulf, I was scared. I can admit that now. Um, and I kept that to myself the whole time though, because I didn't want anyone else around me to know I was scared. I thought if they knew, I thought like I would get labeled, right? Like you're talking about the stigma and everything. I thought if the guys on my ship, or well, the women also knew how afraid I was, that they would see me as somehow less than everyone else. And I struggled with that a lot, even when we left. That probably right there is like the root cause of my PTSD. Um, when we came back from the war and my enlistment ended, I tried to get on with life. I tried to move forward, and that was in 2003. And in 2008, everything just came crashing down. It was like I just couldn't cope anymore. Lost my job, lost my apartment, moved back in with mom and dad, and I was like 32. And I told mom and dad, I was like, I just need to be here for a little while till I figure things out. But underneath that, inside, it's like I knew I wasn't going to figure anything out. Like I was done. I couldn't even try anymore. I wanted nothing to do with the outside world. Um, I shut down. I withdrew. I isolated. I spent the next 14 years basically hiding in my room in mom and dad's house. I'd go to church and then I'd go to the grocery store, and that was pretty much it. I wouldn't even travel to visit my brothers and sisters around the country. Um, Sometimes I wouldn't even talk to mom and dad, and I lived in their house, and I wouldn't talk to them for weeks. I would just stay up in my room, just watching Netflix, eating junk food, just sleeping all the time in the dark. Like I had no hope and no awareness at that time that this was something that I could get help for, right? I just thought like I'd messed things up so badly. I'm never going to recover from this. There's no hope for me. I'm just done. And I'm just sitting here in mom and dad's house, basically waiting for my life to be over. Um, that went on until 2019 was when I finally applied for disability because my mom wouldn't leave me alone about it. And it's another one of those things where there's so many things that the Navy, the military doesn't tell us, and that the VA doesn't tell us when we get out in the civilian world. I thought there were no help, no resources. I thought because my life fell apart 5 years after I got out of the Navy, that it was my fault and my responsibility. It wasn't until I got into therapy in like 2020, 2021 that I realized that everything that happened to me, it was not my fault. It wasn't something that I brought on myself. It does, like PTSD is something that happens to anybody in that kind of hostile, traumatic environment. And I know that now, and now I'm able to talk about it, to work through it, to put parts of it behind me. But when I was living with mom and dad, it was like I didn't know. So
Yeah, when I was going through the med board process, and ended up having to go through TAPS class and everything like that, as far as that goes. Even I mean, I medically retired in end of 06. Even at that point, it was not tailored to those who have been through traumatic environments, traumatic events, traumatic injuries, as far as it goes. It was
And
thrown
there
in
was that
all the
stigma.
rest. Say again.
I was going to say, and there was that stigma of you can't.
Right. There was
Like that was ingrained in you guys before any war even broke out. Not talking about it, you would look weak. So it's completely understandable once actually war happens. You know, it's taken years for them to really acknowledge PTSD, and I don't even think they do it as much as they should.
But
I mean,
like going through the TAPS class, when it came to the majority of it, it was if you have an issue that you think uh, might be medically related to your time in the service, you can go to the VA. And that was about all they said. And it's like
Yeah.
you've got me and several other guys that were all going through the med board process at the same time, sitting there listening to this and going, if we have something medically that we think might be medically whatever as far as that goes, I'm missing my left leg. The guy next to me is missing his right leg. I got a guy next to him that's missing an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what do you mean if?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's even more of a point because you had actual physical injuries,
Right.
and you could see that he's been through a traumatic experience. With somebody who doesn't, or at the time doesn't have physical injuries, people automatically assume there's been no traumatic experience.
Yeah. Well, and when I was processing out, like, I didn't. I told everybody, like, you go through whatever the chain of command and get all these signatures and all that. I told everybody I was fine because in 2003 I was afraid that if I told them I was having all these problems, that I'd get like a dishonorable discharge or a medical, like, somehow other than honorable, and like I'd go home and feel like I had failed somehow because I wasn't mentally tough like everybody else. Like, it's
It's a
I
mind
spent
fuck.
a lot of time when I got home. Well, obviously those 14 years with mom and dad, I spent a lot of time thinking that, like, I was weak, that I had failed because I couldn't handle the trauma of being on my ship. Like, we didn't even see combat. We weren't even an offensive ship. We had like minimum defensive capabilities, but I came home and I was like, when we came home, we brought home the Marine, well, another group of Marines came home with us, and they were like in armored transports and stuff like that. And the guys that had been blown up and seen like half their unit drive over an IED and everything. And I'm sitting here like, these guys have real problems. What's wrong with me that I can't handle just being in that environment? And it took me the longest time to um, work through all of that, and even with therapy to figure out that there's not anything wrong with me. That's what happens to people that are in those environments, and the military back then didn't recognize it, didn't warn us or prepare us for it, and when we came home, like, there should have been so many signs, right? Because I know some other guys from my ship. I know I'm not the only one that came home from that deployment with PTSD, but no one on the ship talked about it. There were no resources available, nothing.
Yeah.
So I struggled a lot. I spent a long time thinking that it was just me. I was the only one. Everybody else must have been just fine, and I just couldn't handle it. And I'm not as, like, I wouldn't talk to other veterans. I wouldn't tell people I was a veteran for years because I was so ashamed of my PTSD. Um, and that's changed. But now at the same time, like, anybody watching this needs to know, just a month ago, I called Jimmy and I was sobbing like I couldn't stop. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. All I want to do is get outside my apartment and just go explore Lubbock. I've been living here for 2.5 years and I still haven't got out and explored. But that's better than where I was at mom and dad's, but it's not where I want to be. So it's like, mental health isn't something that you just tackle in a weekend or in one year or whatever and you're done. Like, it's a lifelong process, but it's essential to recognize those points where you have grown, you are progressing. Like, even when I called Jimmy, like, I was like, oh my God, it's horrible. I'm such a failure. But as soon as I stopped crying, then I was like, okay, I'm not really a failure. I just was having a moment. And
Well,
things like that,
can,
like,
can I say something? Because
yeah,
I met you what, a year and a half ago, and like you said,
I don't
you
think it's
were.
even been that long. I think it's been like
I think it's been
maybe
at
six
least a
months.
year. uh, well, you came on our page. I
Yeah.
don't know, like, if we actually spoke, but I know personally, watching what you've been like,
Hmm.
what you've struggled with, and the growth that you've made is amazing. I have to say that
Thank you. Thank you.
first and foremost. I love that. It took baby steps for sure. So I would definitely know that there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be bad days, and
Yeah.
the fact that you're willing to work through those bad days and reach out speaks volumes.
Well, and
To
your
me,
guys' group has been really key in all of that. It's like because I moved to Lubbock like 2.5 years ago because I had disability finally, so I had my own income again, and I was like, if I can take care of myself, then I need to get out. I need to be independent. I need to start moving forward. Um, and I did that, and I'm still here, so I'm doing something right in that regard. But it's like even moving out, even getting established out here, it's like I only got as so far on my own. And when I started to reach out, when I started being active in your guys' group and connecting with other veterans, um, having those group conversations and those one-on-one conversations with other vets, and realizing I'm not as screwed up as I think I am, and I'm not the only one going through this. And here's people that understand exactly my struggles, my challenges, and they're here to support me and encourage me. Like that was what I needed to like cross that last like threshold, I guess, and really want to open up, want to make friends, want to talk to people. Like,
but I love it because you also, you do very much
mm,
share your personal life, your personal struggles, and you're so great about sharing that with the group that I hope you do see you have so much support out there.
yeah,
And I love that you reach out when you're having a hard time because Jimmy and I just recently this morning found out somebody that we know very well that we would have never thought became another 22 a day. And it just, when I think about that and think about he didn't reach out to anybody, I think about you and how
mm.
great it is that you do reach out, that you
I,
take that chance. And I'm glad that we've been able to provide that
yeah,
safe
yeah.
place
I
for
really
you.
appreciate that you guys do that, and I feel like um, I have to reach out. I have to be open about it because all the years that I spent with mom and dad, it's like I literally I was trying to die. Like I wasn't actively suicidal, but I didn't want to wake up the next morning. Like I would go to bed praying, like, please God, take me in my sleep, like almost every night. And I kept everything to myself. I didn't tell anybody. I tried to just mask it and like just compartmentalize, and it just kept getting worse. Like every year was worse than the year before. And since I turned around and started to share and started to open up and started to let people in, it's it's hard. Have we passed the 13-minute mark? Okay,
Yes,
it's a
you can cuss.
motherfucker. All
I
right.
cussed right at 12.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life to open up and to let another person in. It scares the shit out of me. I just connected with somebody like 3 days ago that's totally awesome. And I'm like, dude, like, don't even talk to me. What are you doing? Like, leave me alone. Do you know how fucked up I am? But it's great to have these connections and be able to talk to people. And there's people I can talk to about the trauma that I'm going through, and there's people I can talk to just about normal stuff. And I haven't had a normal conversation with somebody in so long. It's like that's a miracle right there. And I wouldn't. I mean, part is I wouldn't have done that if I didn't have the courage to step out of mom and dad's house and get back on my own and take that leap of faith. But also meeting other veterans and finding that bigger support network, that is like the key to everything, because for so long I thought I was doing everything alone and I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't. But as soon as I start connecting with one person, two people, five people, 10 people, all of a sudden now, when I feel like I can't handle something, there's somebody I can call and they can help me through it. So it's totally different. It's so much better than I ever would. Like I never thought I would be this happy, and this is just the beginning.
All right, Michael,
And
hold on one second.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break there. I'm going to pay the bills, read some comments, and then we'll come back to that one. Alrighty. For everybody watching the show, thank you for joining us tonight. If you haven't already, I'm sure it looks like most of you have, I think. But if you haven't already, if you could please highlight in the comments, get the word out there that we're out here talking about important issues as far as that goes. And then, well, we'll make you laugh here in a little bit. It'd be greatly appreciated. For those of you looking to sell your services to the government, start your own business, start your own organization, improve your business, reach out to Artias at yesrts.com. These guys are great. They will walk you through everything step by step. They break it down body style, keep it simple. I mean, they've helped us apply for a 501c and walked us through the entire process. They are amazing. Once again, that is yesrts.com. For any service disabled veteran looking to do all of the same things as far as that goes, you can reach out to Artias, but do it through their organization, Vets 365. That's VETS365.org. They'll offer all the same services, but for service disabled veterans, it's completely free of charge. For those of you who like our particular brand of humor, you can join us over on Crown Eater's Wife 1775 on Facebook. We believe in healing through laughter and humor. So all your dark humor, your military humor, your explicit humor, you'll find on our page. And if we can make you spit your coffee out every morning, put a smile on your face for a few minutes, hopefully we can keep you from going to them dark places and become a part of the 22. If you want to show us some love and support, you can go over to our website, cew1775.org, or click on the QR code or scan the QR code here. It'll take you over there. We've got ball caps, trucker hats, t-shirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and some other cool pieces of gear. It'd be greatly appreciated. So, yeah.
Okay. I was just going to ask, I'd love to hear about what your passion is right now, what you're doing. If you can talk about that a little bit.
me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I know what Jimmy King's passion is. I don't need him to talk about it.
Yeah. So, like I said, like the big thing for me is connecting with other veterans. Like that literally is saving my life. Like I'm not even kidding. And I know with everything that I've been through, I know that I'm not the only person that has struggled like this, and I know I'm not the worst by far. I know there's other veterans that have it much, much harder than I ever did. And like I can't just sit here and be like, well, I'm better, good luck. Like if someone else is struggling and if I could help them at all, like I have to do it. And that's the big part of why I share so much, not just in your group, but like all over the place. Like I'll tell anybody about my struggles because I want them to know that there's always hope, that things can improve. And so something that I started this year, I'm building an app. Well, I already have the app, but I'm building an app for veterans and for allies, just like a peer support network, I guess, where you can connect with other vets. You can connect with, as I find people to join with, therapists, mental health workers, social workers, maybe like people that can really help and support vets, help us to find the resources and the support that we need, because I did it all on my own, and it took me 20 years from the time I got out of the Navy before I started feeling good about myself. And that's too fucking long for anybody to have to struggle alone. When if we could just connect with each other and have that system in place, like so many veterans could be moving through this so much quicker.
All right, 1 second here. Speaking of, to an extent, speaking of not being alone, let's read some of the comments here. Amanda Delane said, "New faces. This guy is good." Got a lot of them here, so if I miss a few, I apologize. Theo said, "Thank God I have an ex-wife that caused me so much stress that I haven't had time to actually face my PTSD."
Mm.
Jesse Outriders said, "What's up, brother?" Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Going back to when we was talking about TAPS class and getting out and just the lack of info that's passed on. Joe Ortiz was saying that they don't say anything about time limits either. Like you've actually got, when you get out, you have certain time limits to apply for certain benefits and or everything as far as that goes. And they don't necessarily tell you about that. If you miss those time limits, there are ways to go back to it. But
the VA doesn't tell you about any of that either.
He said, "For me, as I rotated back from deployment, we were locked down, running lanes for demobilization. The doctors actually told us if we complained, we would have to stay there longer." And I've heard that from a lot of vets as far as that goes, that were in a transit, either in transitional units or as they came back and stuff. As far as it goes, the docs themselves were giving bad advice to an extent. Daryl Jones, I don't understand why we had to prove things when they already have the proof for what we've been through. Yeah, right. That's true. Sorry, my computer keeps jumping on me.
No, speaking of that, having to prove things. So I'm 100% disabled for mental health, but the VA doesn't recognize that I have PTSD because according to them, I was never in real danger. So I'm 100% for, I think they call it like persistent depressive disorder or something like that. And I'm grateful. I mean, having disability changed my life. Without that, I don't know where I would be today, still at mom and dad's, if even still alive. Honestly, I don't know. But like how I just, the VA is just its own mind fuck. I don't understand it at all. Like,
yeah. But just to give a shout out to those that are watching as far as it goes, Paige Wilson joined us. She said hi. Stephen Michael Bearden danced into the room. Duff's in the house. Yeah. Mike, if you had
Mike, if you had a wife with kids, how would that help your mental health well-being? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to read, scroll, and someone made a comment and made it move as well. So I'm all over the place. Once again, if it's not written in crayon, I can't read it. So,
well, you were talking about like you don't have PTSD. Jimmy's not ready for PTSD either, because like you in 04 or 06 when he retired, like he went to support groups, but if you ask Jimmy, it was to help other people more than him.
Well,
if you ask Jimmy,
the other part of it,
but especially they didn't have anything like,
especially for men, like it's so easy for us to help someone else, but it's so hard to ask for help when we need it.
Yeah, that is true. Most of us have male ego, male pride, all the above as far as it goes. And there's most of us at our age, there was, aspects of upbringing that, you were taught even before you joined the military from an early age on, men just don't talk about their problems. You deal with it and you move on.
Yeah.
And
And working through trauma, like it's hard. Like it's not. I mean, I since I moved here on my own, like I started journaling every morning, and sometimes when I'm journaling, I'll start crying, and like pretty regularly, a couple times a week, I'll have to put my pen down and cry for 15 or 20 minutes, and like that was pretty scary when it started because I'm a man. I'm not supposed to have these feelings. I'm not supposed to react this way. I'm supposed to be tough. I'm supposed to be stronger than it. And it was hard for me to learn like this what I've been through is so intense that I have to let those tears come. I have to let all the emotion run its course and get out of my system. And like that's the only way I can move forward. And it's hard work. Like anybody, like if you try it at all, like you should get a fucking ribbon just for facing your own demons. Like I understand why some people don't ever do it because it's scary work. It's hard work.
I
you know,
completely agree with you. You know, it's actually kind of funny because I went to a mental health facility for PTSD, and I remember Jimmy dropping me off, and I am just
Mhm.
boo hooing that for some reason I'm going to a mental health facility for PTSD when the guy who went to war isn't going.
Yeah.
And I was leaving him with three kid, three kids at the time, and he's like, "Don't worry, sweetheart, we're gonna switch places," because he was. But you do have to feel those emotions, like
Yeah.
three
they,
kids and seven legs between us.
yeah. You definitely have to feel those emotions and go through them to work through them. But the thing is, people don't realize you can work through them, but that doesn't mean they're not going to pop up later again
Yeah. Yeah.
for some other reason. And that's what I love what you're doing with the app. You're also putting surveys out there for people to answer, and we should actually post it on the group in our featured section so that
Oh,
people
that
can
would be dope. Yeah,
fill that
I would
out
love that.
because you really want to know what's going to help somebody, what they think they might help. And I
Hmm.
love that. You know, I know that, for instance, Jimmy and I starting our own 501c, we kind of had our mind set on how we wanted to do it. Where you're really like, okay, I want to do this for you, so I need to know what you think you need to
Yeah, yeah.
keep moving forward.
Well, and I lost so many years to my trauma. It's like sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't, and not in a bad way, but it's just like I've missed out on all those years of having a career path or having a family or whatever. So I'm like, I know what helped me, but I don't. That's not necessarily going to be what the next person needs. So I do
Right.
want other people to be involved. I want like, um, I want to build the space where people can gather. And maybe I'm one of the leaders, but I'm not like the top guy. Like I don't have the fucking answers, but I have a space where you can come together and you can help each other.
And that's amazing. I mean, it goes down to vets helping vets, and that's
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
important. Um,
And like how
we
you were saying about going to that PTSD group, and you were talking about how you were going, and yet the man who's been to war was like I struggled with that because I didn't see combat, and the Marines that were coming back with us from deployment, from what I could see, they were handling it better than I was, and they'd seen their buddies drive over an IED, and I'm like, I can't cope with that. I like if I was in combat, I would probably freeze. I would probably get myself killed or somebody else killed, and yet I
and I
come
feel
home fucked up and they come home from what I can see they look like they're just fine, and that was a struggle for me to be like, okay, I'm having problems and it doesn't matter that if I was in combat or not, my problems are still legitimate and I still need help.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can completely relate to that because somebody who has, you know, when you think of PTSD, you think of war. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know about everyone else, but I think about like Vietnam, for instance, you know, those veterans. So
Yeah.
you minimize your trauma and the things you're experiencing because you don't think it's as as important or as meaningful as somebody else's trauma. Um, so I understand that feeling of not validating your own PTSD. But I love that you've been able to recognize it, take a look at it and work on it. And I know personally I've connected you with a couple different people
Yeah,
to kind of help
which has
you
been
with that,
awesome.
with this process. I don't have all the answers. I'm good at connecting people.
Yeah, but those connections, that's what makes it all work. Because like
It
I
really
said,
is,
if I'm having a hard day now, like I don't have to just sit here and be like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just fucked. Like I could call someone. And if they can't help me, I could call someone else.
right? And with this app that you're doing, that's what's really great is
Hmm.
where if today without that app somebody's in trouble, they have to call, the suicide hotline or call the VA and get
Right.
put off for days, if not weeks, if not months, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and this is a safe place, and you have the same people. Like you have more familiarity. You don't have to go over your
Hmm.
trauma repeatedly like you do
Right,
with the
right.
VA. And I love that about what you're doing. And
Yeah.
I really hope some
Yeah.
therapists come on that can really lead them down that path.
I do want to be clear though, like what I'm doing is not a replacement for therapy or for like the suicide hotline or any of that stuff. I've called the suicide hotline myself a couple times and it helps. Like it got me through those dark moments. But it is like I don't want any veteran to feel isolated and feel so cut off, like even from other veterans or from their own family or anything. Like we shouldn't. We were like we're the only ones that were brave enough to put on a uniform and to put our lives on the line. And we come home from the military, and too many of us get into that depression and that just fucking like my life is over. I have no direction. I have no purpose. I have no meaning. And that shouldn't be happening. We should be leaders in our own communities. We should be strengthening our families and our friends. And if that's not happening, then there's a problem there that needs to be addressed. And that's what I'm trying to do really is find veterans like that, like me, and build that support system so that we can start to move forward again. We can find that bigger purpose and direction, and we have the camaraderie that so many of us miss. Like,
I get that. All right, so you've told us a lot, so it's time to get into the bad advice.
all
This is the
right,
fun part of our show where you give us the worst advice possible. We're going to ask a question, and us three and the viewers will give us the worst possible advice. And I'm sure with this crowd, we can come up with a few. So here we go. Here's number one. What are the best PTSD pickup lines you can give me to use at a military bar?
ooh,
At a military,
I don't even know where to go with that.
I don't either. I mean, I would be like, "Can I be your Jody?"
Hey, you want to come
That's
back to
the
my
only
place
thing
so
I
I
can
can show you
think
some
of.
true? You want to come back to my place so I can show you some true shock and awe?
There you go.
Fuck.
Let me blow your back end out like an ID.
Can I secure your back glass area?
Uh,
Um,
Man, I thought I was prepared for anything, but I don't even have a response to this question.
it's okay. It's okay. All right.
so,
Let's see.
what are you more into? No better friend or no worse enemy? All right. You want to be romantic or do you like it rough? Um, let's see. What do we got here? Stephen Bearden said, "You trigger my PTSD. Pretty, talented, sexy, and dangerous."
Nice, nice.
That's a
Theo
good.
said, "Hey girl, can I interest you in some PTSD?"
These nuts.
Shit.
That's
See,
all I thought
I was
of.
just gonna say, you know, with having PTSD, I mean, intimacy is such a big problem for me. I usually just fucking bang hookers anyway, so
You don't really need the pickup lines, do you?
no, just a Venmo.
He just
I
goes,
didn't even know they used Venmo. Oh my goodness.
"How much my deployment money is this going to cost?"
Oh goodness. Okay.
You want to earn some combat pay?
I mean,
Last
that
night,
is
Last night when he said, "I've never been into killing babies, but I'd like for you to swallow some of mine."
Oh, Lance, he's always good for a good one. Be careful, baby. I got weapons of ass destruction. All right, let's see what's bad advice number 2. I'm celebrating my 10th anniversary from getting out of the Navy. What is the best way to celebrate?
Oh shit!
Is this Pride Month? I'm just
It is
joking.
Pride Month.
It is now, but I'm just saying, is this your anniversary? Oh, goodness.
I'm just saying. I mean, at least the Marines on my ship were good for one thing.
Being a big spoon. Yeah, I'm gonna say bad advice. So
Put on your dress whites and just fucking, I don't know.
go
You
on
like,
Yourself
did you
dancing to the
tailor those dress
YMCA or some
whites
shit.
to the oh, who was that group?
get on a
The
bar crawl and make sure you've got a backpack, and each bar you stop at, go into it dressed as a different one of the village people.
That's Crazy the Village People. It just popped in my head. Yeah.
yeah. And then when you go home, watch
You know what?
Brokeback Mountain.
I think there's always like at a drag show a group of village people, so that's where you should celebrate. Yep. You don't have to ask if it's a guy or girl. You pretty
Bad
much
advice. Shit, camera.
I just hope my mom's not watching this.
Hi, Mom. Where are the inappropriate group your son
He got passed around the barracks like a VA claim. Ignored, delayed, and everybody's problem. We got another one that says, "Finally completely come out of the closet." To celebrate your Navy anniversary, you should join the Mujahideen. All right. Bad advice 3, and then we'll do that one. We'll do we'll pay the bills one more time, then we'll move into hypothetical hijinks if we've got it. Yep, there it is. All right. So bad advice 3. What is the best app? What is the best app you can think about making?
One that would make me feel the way I do when I'm with your mom.
Talking about your mom. My mom's dead. Not talking about my mom. There's no necrophilia. We've got her in ashes.
All right, I'll keep that off this show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, y'all are the ones that brought up necrophilia, so I apologize for this, but you combine your necrophilia you combine Uber or Lyft or whatever as far as that goes, and you combine your hookers. So you have a dating site for necrophiliacs who go and pick up your date from the funeral homes, bring them to you, and then take it back. That's your new app.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sure there's money in that somewhere.
Lord, I apologize for what I just said.
I knew you were into necrophilia. That's why you wait till I'm asleep all the time.
I just like waking up with mushroom head imprints, but I'm building an app that lets you scream into the void, and it screams back with VA hold music.
Oh, fuck.
That would suck. That's a bad app.
Your call is very important to us. I would build an app that rings an alarm every time my girlfriend jumps to conclusions. I would call it the Normal Woman app.
Amanda said Norman Bates loves hoes.
I would build an app that you can use to scan shit. Then it would show you what the shit looks like before the person ate it.
That's got to come from a Marine.
It does.
It does. So, yeah. Real quick, pay the bills. For any of you interested in starting your own business, starting your own organization, improving your business, or selling your services to the government, reach out to Artias at yesrts.com. These guys are great. They will walk you through everything step by step, break it down Barney style, hold your hand, and keep it simple, stupid. I mean, if my crown ain't asked and follow along, I'm sure you can too. They said that's yesrts.com for all your business needs. For any service disabled veteran, doesn't matter what your percentage is, just as long as you're considered a service disabled veteran. If you're looking to do any of the same, you can reach out to Artias, but do it through their organization, Vest 365. They offer to service disabled veterans completely free of charge. That's VETS365.org. For those of you who like our particular brand of humor, join us over on Crown Eaters Wife 1775 on Facebook. We believe in healing through laughter. We can put a smile on your face. Might keep you from going to those dark places and become a part of the 22. You'll get your military humor, the dark, the inappropriate, the explicit. We do try and sprinkle in some
motivational, like,
or Beth's favorite, the inspirational.
That is no longer my favorite word. It is a bad word.
But for the most part, we're going to make you laugh and try and put a smile on your face. If you want to check out,
need to let everybody know I was a good innocent church boy before I joined Crown Eater's Wife.
Yes, so was I. So was girl, but yeah, so was I. People think I'm crazy, but
we're online in a virtual meeting, and I can still smell bullshit. But if you want to check out some of our cool gear, you can check us out at you can check us out at cw1775.org or scan the QR code here in the corner. It'll take you to the shop. We've got ball caps, trucker hats. There you go. Scan that QR code down that way somewhere. There it is. Over there, next to Beth.
Over there.
We've got ball caps, trucker hats. We've even got a cool flask. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and some more gear coming soon. All proceeds go to crowneaterswife1775.org, which we are turning into a nonprofit for healing through laughter. So any love and support you want to show would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, hypothetical hijinks.
All right, so our hypothetical hijinks. Now, this is where we redeem our souls and give good advice.
Oh, shit.
This is where we make up for all the BS we just went through just now, okay? We definitely need some soul cleansing. You moved back in with your parents, but they rented your room out to a stripper. What do you do in that situation? This is supposed to be the good one, the good advice. Yeah. Okay.
It depends on how many kids she's got. I mean, hypothetically.
I mean, personally, you know, because she's only doing it to put herself through school.
Right.
I was just getting ready to say, I would walk in and offer to help her study.
I was gonna help her fill out her forms for actual scholarships and grants.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I've seen girls in Thailand.
I thought she might need some, study lessons.
I don't know if I should even say that on here.
What about Thailand? We love to hear about Thailand.
I've seen girls in Thailand sign their name without holding the pen in their hands. So I would teach the stripper how to do that.
This is how innocent I am, because I'm like, how do they sign it? That's what I just thought. So it's either I'm really blonde or
they put the marker somewhere where they got really good grip and they can hold on to it.
I'm thinking about their toes. Oh, have you seen the one that gives you change? I love those. Quarter girls.
Well, I mean,
breaking tens for me in quarters.
Yeah, in Thailand, they can use a blowgun and use darts to pop.
Oh yeah,
balloons on the ceiling. So teach them new tricks, help them make some extra money.
Oh goodness.
Last night
in Thailand, you got to set yourself apart. There's so much competition. You got to stand out somehow.
Last night, Mahaney said, try to get comfortable with a brand new roommate. Carl Henry said, Jimmy King, oh shit, effing legend. Thank you. I'm a legend in my own mind. Theo said, ask the stripper if she has heard about your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christo. Steven said, I moved back in with my parents. Turns out my old room's now a VIP lounge with a cover charge and a pole. Theo said in Thailand, some of the women can hula hoop with their third leg.
I thought we were redeeming our souls. Oh my goodness.
Well, see, this is what you don't know about me. When my grandparents met, my grandma, she wasn't a stripper as far as I know. but she had tassels, right? And the whole reason my grandpa asked her out is because she could make the tassels spin in opposite directions. So that's my family. Amazing. That's my heritage right there.
It's funny you said tassels because I was just saying that back then it wasn't strippers, it was called burlesque. So
I'm just saying if it's good enough for grandpa,
right? I was getting ready to say, like, if you find a stripper in your room, maybe you should have a conversation with your dad to see if that's his girlfriend, his side chick or not. You don't want to, cross swords.
Hey, why has it got to be dad's girlfriend? Could be mom's.
Could be mom's. That was very sexist.
This is 2025.
Sorry. It is. Go, mom. And you were worried about her watching the show, right?
Okay, so that was unfortunately all our hypothetical hijinks. We do have some weird news from around the states. Sorry, it jumped on me there. I get it. I don't know if it's Florida man or
Florida man is the segment.
Florida is the man this time. Has opened up a prison but uses snakes and gators as the correctional officers. So there's a video out there talking about it. They've actually turned a section of Florida swampland into a prison.
Wait, for real?
Yes, this is real.
Like,
this is
Wow.
Gator Alcatraz.
All right.
yeah, Gator Traz or
Yeah.
Alligator, I something.
I've never fucked a gator.
I mean, you got gators and pythons, and
I think you could with that hat on there. I think you can pull it off with the cowboy hat. For sure. I think you got it in you.
I just need some good spurs.
Personally, in the swamp, I mean, I'll fight the gator. I'll fight the snakes if I have to, or whatever, as far as that goes. The part that would probably scare me the most is the fucking mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
Those things down there flying around, big as birds.
Yeah. The way it said that sounds more like some Australia shit. No, unfortunately.
Going back to the stripper one, Theo said I would ask her to help me remove the paint. Oh, wait. Is she a paint stripper or exotic dancer?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, no. We're trying out a new segment called Florida Man, so we come up with different things. It doesn't always happen in Florida, but so far it's been fun. It's just another way for us to joke. But I want you to, talk about your app real quick before we leave, because I want to make sure people know about this and know what you're doing, how they can find you. I think we have the
link.
If Theo can put the link in the comments, that would be great. Sorry, brain fart, but talk about it real quick. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's called the Resilient Veteran Alliance, and the reason I chose that name is because I do think of it as like an alliance where everybody's coming together. There's not one central person in charge of it all, but there's opportunities for people just to connect with each other and to find and build their own support networks, their own systems, and it's for people to help and to give help to veterans that, like, I mean, we're all, well, I don't know if we're all good people, but we're all great people. But we just need help. We just need even just one other person that you can count on, that you can reach out to when in those dark times. Like, that's going to save somebody's life, right? So
absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I do. Like, I have plans, and that's all that it is right now is plans. But one of the things that I'm noticing is, like, so many veterans, we never learned the life skills that civilians learn when they get out of high school or college, because the government just took care of us. And so I want to put some stuff in there for free. Like, everything in the app is free anyway, but like little mini courses on like emotional regulation or communication skills or stuff that could just like help just make things a little bit better for everyone.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, you did a really great job with your website.
One thing I was thinking about earlier when you're talking about it, Michael, once you get it, might even be able to start now, but on a worst case scenario, once you get it a little bit more developed, one of the things that you could look at doing is going to your local VA and going and talking to the VSOs, and or go to your county VSO that works for the county. They're not actually part of the VA. They're a veteran service officer through the county for the state. Okay. As far as that goes, talk with them and see if you can get them to share amongst themselves and or join, so that you would have other, have VSOs in there as a resource.
I have a secret for you. Duff is going for his VSO, so you can reach out to him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll
So
talk to
put his shit
anybody.
out there.
I'm
But
like, this is what I'm doing for I mean, however long it takes, because we need help. We need each other, and we need to know that it's okay to build those connections and to ask for help and to be that support system.
that's awesome, and that's 100% true. I know we've had a similar situation that made us realize how important it is and how much we can get done
Hmm.
with vets helping vets. Like we've had a friend who was fighting with the VA to get something he needed for physical, and that's actually what led us into starting, Crayon Eater's Wife, was seeing, making a couple phone calls. I was able to do something that the VA hadn't done in several months, which was, and it wasn't
Wow.
me, it was
Yeah,
reaching out. But
yeah, yeah.
and through another organization, that person got a wheelchair that he needed for a back surgery that he was having literally that week.
Wow.
Um, and so I saw the power that Vets Helping Vets had,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that launched us into doing what we're doing. So I love that, you've gone through your struggles, you're very open about it, and you just want to help other people, which in
Yeah.
return honestly feeds my soul, feeds Jimmy's soul, and I know you're the type of
Yeah.
person where just helping people will feed your soul and help you
Well, and I mean,
grow.
it helps me too, right? Like
Right.
I need this support system as much as anybody else.
All right. Well, that's our time for tonight. Uh, we're just starting to go over, so sorry, Michael, I gotta cut you off there.
No, you're good.
To all the ladies, gentlemen, misfits, delinquents, and my fellow magnificent bastards out there, we thank you for watching the show. Join us again. We might be on Sunday night. we
Oh
got we got
yeah.
we got some traveling coming up, so we may miss out. But on a worst case scenario, join us again on next Thursday for another show. We'll have another guest on for you, talking about some great things. Thanks for stopping into the Smoke Pit and joining us on the Smokin Jokin Show. We love you guys. Thank you and good night.
Thanks, guys. Love you. Thank you, Michael.